Hey there, kiddos. Welcome back to Sandy's Odds and Bobs. And my question for you today is, do you have any old envelopes laying around your house? Well, you're thinking, well, how's that happen? Well, maybe you was doing a card for someone and you flubbed it up. And so now you have to start over, but now you have this extra envelope. So what are you going to do with it? Just lays around the house. You can even get envelopes in your junk mail. Okay, that's another way to get envelopes. Like for instance, ones that they expect you to mail back to them. Yeah, like I don't think so. Okay, so what we're going to do today is we're going to be able to use up some of our envelopes. And how that came about is I was inspired. The other day I was looking at some crafty videos, as I am wont to do, and I came across Tina at Shabby Dabby Doodah, and she was making her reverse envelope stack. Well, that just inspired me to make my own little flip-flop envelope thingy. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to use up those old envelopes, and we're going to be able to make something really nice out of them. Now we're going to work in my little journal here that I've started, and I'm going to show you how we get our flip-flop going. Now this is a flip-flop. This is what I'm talking about. You're flipping, you're flopping, you're flipping, you're flopping, you're flipping. And how this works is we'll start all together, and we're going to glue these envelopes in. We're going to find some cards, some greeting cards, recycle them, turn them into journaling cards, and we'll be able to create almost, let's see if we can fold it back again, flip, flop, flip, flop, flip, flop, and flip. And we're going to be able to create our flip-flop, and it's going to almost be so thick that it's going to turn into another signature just on its own. Now these are signatures right here. Each individual group of pages that we've sewn into our book is called a signature. But this signature that we're going to create with our flip-flop envelope thingy, we're actually going to glue onto the front page of our second signature. Now I have it all paper clipped together here just to be able to keep it in mind and be able to figure out how things are going to fit and arrange, and you might do this as well, because it's always better to measure twice, cut once. So we want to be able to preview how our flip-flop is going to flip and flop and flip and flop. Now I have 7 envelopes here, but you don't have to have 7. You could have as many as 2. Or you could have just 1 and make it just one flop. So you use up the envelopes that you have, and then you can start arranging them. Now what I like to do is that I like to use my biggest envelope as the cover of my flip-flop, and everything else will fit in between it. So we're going to flip this and flop this and flip this and flop this and flip this and flop that and flip it back. So everything fits nice and neat inside this. And again, you're going to end up creating like a whole signature. It's going to be quite thick. So let's take this apart and I'll show you how that works. Let's get busy with this. Okay. Now I've arranged these over here. I paper clipped them here. Take off our paper clips. And because we're using paper to paper, we're going to be using our, let's see, we can be using our tacky glue here. And remember, you want to keep your tacky glue on the side so you can use it right away. And we're going to lift off these, and we're going to start with our biggest envelope first. And when you glue it in, if you're going to attach it to your signature page like I am, you don't want to get it right down into the seam binding right there where you sewed it in. You don't want to do that because that will just cause it to warp your your pages. So we're going to glue it just a little bit above that seam, that edge there. And we can start out with, see how quickly that comes out? Love it. We just scritchy scratchy some glue on there. Doesn't have to be neat. Well, a little bit neat. You don't want to get it all over your envelope. But there it goes. That's enough. And we're going to carefully lay this into our page. Carefully. Okay. And voila. Press that down. And you think, well, what about this gluey part? That's all going to get covered over. Okay, so we have that part. Now we're going to go with this next envelope. And you decide where you want to arrange it. Like, you know, you might want it up at the top. You might want it down at the bottom. I'm going to stick mine in the middle. And again, just going to use our glue and go around the edges. And we're going to make sure that when you put your next envelope in, that your envelope is into the crease of the previous envelope, because that's going to be where everything is going to flip and flop from. So you want to make sure that you've got that working. Ta-da, like that. And press that down. There's two. Okay, so next, again, so you get the idea how you're supposed to put these in. And again, like I said, a little planning ahead of time will help you a lot, because you'll be able to figure out where you want it to go. Now, I could just go right smack in the middle again, but you know, I'm going to be a little adventuresome and I'm going to go a little lower. As long as you don't go so low that it's going to peek out from your main cover of your envelope. Okay, you want to make sure that you've got it into the groove, right there. Glue that down, so let's preview. Boom, boom, boom. Working good, like it. Okay, now our next little envelope on this side. Well, I'm going to make it go up this time. Okay, so there we go. A little bit of glue here, a little bit of glue there. And I'm going to stick that right there, maybe. Sure. Now I already have my cards that I've chosen to go into my envelope pockets. I have those already picked out. So if you have that done, make sure you're not gluing your cards in. So you want to make sure you get that in the right position. It's not sticking anything. Preview it. There we go. See, it's already starting to get quite thick. Yeah, that's okay. That's what we want. So we got that side done. So now we're going to work on this side. Got this one, and that one, and this one. So we only have 3 on this side. Got 4 on that side, and it's all good. It's all good. Okay, so this is going to go off like that, like this, hopefully. And we'll start with our back one first. So where do we want it? Now, here again, you need to make sure that you are separating them enough that when you are flipping and flopping, that they will be able to fit the page. So you've got to be careful with that. You don't want it to go too far in. And you'll notice this one, it's hanging over just a wee bit. You know, that's all good because we can do something with that later. So it's going to hang over just a wee bit, and that's all good. It's okay, we can do that. So we're not going to glue all the way to that edge. We're going to glue close to the edge though. But not all the way. Switch. And we want it to fit. So I'm going to do it like so. And make sure all those little envelopes can flop. so we can do the flip. Excellent, excellent. Okay. Make sure it's straight. You don't want a crooked envelope. But it's all looking good. Excellent. So now we go to our next one. Now, a little purple guy. So now that we know where our edge is going to be, we can go ahead and glue this little guy right on that crease. And do we want to go down again? A little bit down. Might go a little bit down. Okay, yeah. And again, because that's going to hang over just a very little bitty tab right there. Oops, can you see it? Nope. It's going to hang over just a little bitty tab right there. So we're not going to glue all the way to the edge. We're just going to leave some space there. Leave some space. Now up here we can glue to the edge because that's already going to have some backing on it. Okay. And we're going to make sure we crease it. It's creased right where we need it to be. Flipping and flopping. Make sure it's fitting. Flop, flip, flop, flopping, flopping, flipping. Yeah, I like it. Okay, last one in, and then we can start working on our journal cards. Okay, so let's see. Now we got our crease. So this one can literally just go, we'll put it in the middle. And it can go right on the crease because it's not going to have any overhang. So good, 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 good. And let's make sure we got this little guy where we need him. There, and press him down. Yeah. That's a good. That's a good. Now we're going to flip and flop. We flipping and we flopping. Okay, so now that we got our envelopes in, sticky there. Let's see how it works. Boom, 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 and kaboom. Perfect. Excellent. And we got our nice little thick flip-flop thing going on. Okay, so now, that looked more complicated than it really was. Because of the glue getting that very sticky, it's activating from the glue on the envelope. So want to make sure that we do not close up any of our envelopes right away. We do need some glue out here. A bit. Okay, now what we can do is we can glue a piece of paper over there, or if we don't have anything picked out yet, what we can do is we can just lay something on there until we are ready. So here we go. We're just going to lay this on there. See how that works. Nah, not going to do that. So go ahead and let that dry. So we are going to go through each of our envelopes, and if you already have a recycled greeting card that you want to use as your journal card, all you have to do is get it ready, make sure that it's the right size. Okay, so it will slide in there. Now you'll notice that these envelopes have been modified a little bit, and that is because when we go to put things in, we may have to trim them up just a wee bit, and I'll show you how that goes. We'll go from beginning to the end. So here we go. Here's the big envelope, our cover, and we want to put a big journal card in here. And there again, this is what you saw previously. This is called a master board, and basically all it is an ugly piece of scrapbooking paper that I've covered with little bits of magazine pages that I've cut out to use as textures. So what I do is when I harvest my images and my textures and my words from the magazines, I put them in 3 little buckets, and then that way I can just pick them out and glue them on, and it goes very fast. So this is what we're going to be using for our journal card for our biggest envelope. And when you go to measure a journal card for your envelope, you want to make sure, let's see if I can get you in here better. You want to make sure, a little shiny, that you're at least, let's see if I can get some contrast here. You're at least 1/4 of an inch in on all sides. So what happens is, what you're going to do is, when you come down here, you're going to have too much hanging over, so you're just going to make a little tick mark with a pencil, and you're going to trim it up with our handy dandy guillotine. Find a little tick mark. There it is. Got it even. And this can be used for a journal card for another project. It goes in our odds box, our odds and bobs box. So now, see if it fits. Yes, that's going to fit very nicely. Now this is going to be a little hard getting in like this, because it's like, ugh, these little bitty flaps are annoying. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut these little flaps off. So basically all you have to do is, you can do it the neat way and measure it. Use a straight edge just to give yourself a little guideline here. Got your card. Do a snip and another snip across the top, and you can tidy that up later. Again, upside down and backwards, snip there, tidy it up. Pretty much goes in here, odds and bobs. So now you'll be able to access that a lot easier. Now again, with our journal card right here, we've noticed that it's too wide. So we're going to again, let's see, measure. We don't have to measure like this. Yeah, there we go. We'll do that. And we're going to see where our seam is. Seam is here. We want to be able to have some room to tuck him in. So we're going to make a little tick mark here. And we're going to trim this off. Now this is too long for my little mini cutter, so I'm going to go over here real quick. Give it a shot. Ta-da! And here we go. So there we have it. It's a little guillotine better, yeah. And it sticks out just enough so that you'll be able to reach in there and grab it. Yeah, that works. Okay, so now these things are not gluing down well. Let's make sure that they stay down. We're going to glue those little guys down. Boom, boom, boom. And again, this is a little rough here, but that's okay. You can trim that up later. It's all good. We're going to glue this little guy down. That happens sometimes. You know, the card companies, they don't spend a lot of time thinking, well, what about that little edge right there? But as junk journalers, as crafters, we think about it all the time. There we go. So now, this looks kind of boring. So we're going to round our edges. And not only that, but square edges are harder to insert into an envelope than rounded edges. I don't know why, it just works better. Ta-da! So we have our journal card here. Again, with things that I like to do is do the edges. So we're going to edge that journal card up. Boom, boom, boom. Get that white core from that scrapbooking paper covered up. Okay. lot of it, just a little bit. Did you do that side yet? And ta-da, it's ready to go in. Ta-da, it's so smooth, so smooth. Okay, one down, moving on. Next one, what do we got here? Okay, so we've already trimmed that off. All we need to do is round our corners here. These little corner rounders, you can get these at Amazon. They're memory keepers, I believe is where I got this one from. But there's different versions of these that you can get. So you can do some shopping if you don't have one. And truthfully, if you don't have a corner chopper like this, you can literally just curve the corners with a pair of scissors. You can use a coin to make a little line as a guideline for yourself. Anything like that. So there's a way. Where there's a will, there's a way. And we're done with that one. Boom, boom, boom. And see how you fit though, guy. Perfect. Okay, moving on. Next one. Okay, so this one's already done. Yay! So we're just going to ink them up real quick. And basically you're going to go through all your envelopes like this. And just, it took more time to pick out what kind of cards I wanted to have for the envelopes than it did to assemble. Whoa, that's why you keep it open. To assemble the flip-floppy thingy in the first place. Okay, so that one's ready to go in. But, you know, we're going to trim this up a wee bit. So again, we're going to use a ruler. Let's take out some of that. Here, here. And you know, I was just thinking, wouldn't it have been a lot smarter of me to have done this before I glued them into the book? Yeah, it would have. So I suggest you don't do it the way I'm doing it because that's a bit tedious. And you go ahead and trim those edges off before you glue your envelopes in. So that makes it easier that way. You see, this is still a little bit sticky. Okay, so here we go with the next one. And again, we're going to ink, ink, ink. Quick, quick, quick. And if you want to go back and do more inking later, that's okay. We're just giving it a lick and a miss, basically. Okay, and we're going to trim this up because we didn't do it before. We didn't do it before. Oops, and you know what? We're going to go back and clean that one up. That one's a bit on the wonky side. Now it's really wonky. Okay, that's all right. Hey, you know what? We can cover that up with something. So there we go. And we go this envelope. So now we're ready for the other side. Getting on down to the other side. And this is a little close, so yeah, we're going to do that as well. Trim that up. Again, I would suggest doing this before you glue in your envelopes. It would just be a lot easier on you. You can manipulate your envelope a lot better. You wouldn't have to do the upside down and backwards thing. I'll try to be a little neater this time. You know, sometimes when you're in the throes of creativity, you come up with another idea. It's like, oh, I should have done this, and I should have done that. And it's all good. Because that's what creativity is all about. It's coming up with new ideas on the fly. So here we go. Quick, quick, quick. And again, I'm just using old greeting cards that my friend Betsy gave me. She gave me a bag full, well, actually it was a box full of old greeting cards that I don't know why she was saving them. And she told me she didn't know why she was saving them either. But I'm so glad she did, because they are so handy and so cute. I tell you. All right, so put that one in. Put that there. Okay, then we got this one, and again, we're going to, you know what, I'm not even going to bother to measure it. I'm just going to snip it right even with the edge of that envelope. Boom. Trim it. Trim it. Okay. And we got this cut out, measured, and corners chopped. We're just going to edge it up again. Get that core. That's the core. The white line that you see on the edge of your paper, that's called the core of the paper. And it literally is the core. It's the inside of the paper. That's why when you're ripping things and you say, why is there a white edge there? That's the core you're ripping out and exposing to the world. Okay, so that's good. Last one. Well, this one, haha, green card, needs a little help on this. And that we're going to have to cover this up with something. But the best thing I like to cover it up with could be a piece of paper bag. Cover it up with some paper bag. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to get our handy dandy glue paper out here. Get that going. We're going to, oops, wrong glue. We're going to use our dry glue, glue stick. Oop, almost at the end. Okay. We're going to give it a go. See if we can use up the rest. Do we have enough to make it work? Do we have enough? Uh-oh. I feel like I'm scraping the bottom of the barrel there. Check for dry spots. Check for dry spots. Okay, I think we're good. All right, and remember always, snap your cap. So we got our glue going on there. And now we're going to put our paper bag. I don't want to do this on top of my journal. Let's not do that. Get a different glue page. And I'm going to lay that down like so. Make sure we got the paper bag where it needs to be. And we're going to press it down. Now, once you press it down, these little creases will pretty much go away. Now they don't have to completely go away, but we're going to make them as smooth as we can. See how that's working. We got some over here. Okay. How's that working? We got it. We got it. We got it. Got it. Okay, now make sure that's pressed down. And you're saving another brown plastic bag. Yeah, plastic bags, they're another problem we have with grocery stores. So many plastic bags. But you're saving another brown paper bag from going in the trash, using it for a creative purpose. So you're just going to cut all around that. Real quick. This makes for a really sturdy journal card and a quick backing, and you can still write on it, which is what the journal card's all about, is being able to write on it, right? It's looking good. And these big pieces we're going to save. Yeah, we're going to save them. Little piece, not so much. Okay, so now we have our backing. There's our glue paper. Let's see if this is going to work, because sometimes these little chompers, when there's wet glue there, they don't like it. They don't like it, and they don't chomp. Like I said, it takes a lot of pressure for it to chomp when you got them moist like that. Ah, popping, chomping. Okay, here we go, and our last one. So I would suggest you always, when you go to use your corner chompers, corner rounders, whatever you want to call it, is to let the glue dry first. Otherwise, a little harder. So again, now we got our card, looking good on the back, looking good on the front, and now we're going to edge that. Make that a little bit smoother, a little more finished. Yeah, I meant to do that. There it goes. Boop. And if you get, it's no big deal. It's no big deal. Now you can go ahead and continue embellishing these cards. What I would suggest is keep it flat. Keep it flat. Use flat images. Do not get any dimension to it. You don't want to get any dimension, because otherwise you're going to have a really hard time doing that. Ta-da. So there's our flippy floppy thing. So let's check it out. Oh, so we still need to deal with this. So what we're going to do with that is we're going to come up with some kind of insert that will cover up all our little gluey things. So one thing that we can use is wrapping paper. You have some wrapping paper that is left over from where you have wrapped a gift. You can use that to do your insert. Now it's sticky already. It's quite sticky already to this. So we're just going to measure this little guy up. How far up do we want him? About like that. We're going to snip them off. Snip, 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 snip. Okay, you always want to save your little bits. Always something that you can use those for. And we're good on the bottom. We just need our side. And we're just going to make sure that the edge is our innermost envelope. We want the edge right there. We don't want it to pull over. So let's see how that's working. Press that down. Okay, yeah, it had to come in a wee bit. Okay, so then we're going to cut that off. And does it have to be perfect? No. And guess what? We're saving this. We're saving that. Okay. It's on the odds and bobs box now. It's not coming back till later. Okay, so everything's flipping, everything's flopping. Let's get our flip-flop going. Okay, so now, it is sticky. So we're going to glue this. Again, we're not going to be using the tacky glue. We're going to be using our glue stick. Get a different one, because that one was just about done in. This one looks okay, I think. And yeah, I tell you, when you get down to the nubbins on your glue stick and you can't get any more out, you're looking at it, it's like, wait a minute, there's still glue in there. What can I do with that? Hello. Do you ever eat Chinese food? You ever get any of these little containers? This is a soy sauce container from Chinese carryout. And what I do is I will make sure I got a lid with it. Of course, you're going to clean it out. And then you can use a sharp tool of some sort. I like to use a palette knife. You know, being an artist, we all have palette knives, because it has this really narrow nib there. And you just dig in there and you scrape it out and you put it in there. And because this cap is very tight, because they don't like their soy sauce sloshing all over your food yet. So it's a nice tight seal, and it will keep it moist. And then when you run out of glue, and that happens, there you go. You got you some extra little glue there. So hey, recycle, recycle everything. No sense in wasting stuff that you pay money for these things. So they don't come for free in your Chinese food. Okay, so this guy is ready to go to the staging area. He will be used to fill that cup with. And there we go. Got another one. Okay. And quickie. So, and this is a great way to use up all the little bits and bobs of wrapping paper, especially around Christmas. Oh my goodness, don't we get a lot of little bits here and there at Christmas when we're wrapping packages? So birthdays, whatever event that you give a gift that you wrap. Oop, don't want to gob. Do we have all our dry spots? Dry spots are covered. Sweet. And remember, snap the cap. Okay, so this guy, because it's very thin, it's very wet. And we're going to lay him in there. Remember, we're just going from card, and that shows me that it's too close. And up. And the glue stick is nice in that you can manipulate it. Okay, that's looking good. Press over here, and then we're going to use our handy dandy smoothing tool. Cha-ching! These are these old plastic advertising cards that they want you to buy their stuff, so they figure if they give you a free card that you'll be inspired to go do that. Now you notice I didn't get it all the way to this edge. You know, it's okay. It's okay. You know, I can come up here and I can add maybe a strip of washi tape to that. You know, there's always ways to make it look cuter for yourself. Okay, so here we go. Let's try it. We'll start with the small one. That one. Boom. That one. Boom. And that one. Ta-da! We did it. We did it. We made our flip-flop envelope thingy. That's what we're going to call it. Flip-flop envelope thingy. And again, I was inspired by Tina at Shabby Dabby Doodah. So if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe, because we have a lot of things that we can share together. And go over and check out Tina, because she has a lot of fun stuff. I love watching her videos. She's very creative. And thank you for stopping by Sandy's Odds and Bobs. And hopefully I've inspired you, as Tina inspired me, to make a flippy flop envelope thingy for your journal. So thank you. See you later. Bye-bye.